Okay, so today we're going to review adding and subtracting these mixed numbers with unlike denominators in the fractions, right? And 6.7 where we have to change the whole fraction. So number one here, just to review, this is section 6.6. I have 2 and 2/9 plus 4 and 1/6. Now notice here, right? Right away, the denominators of the fraction are different. So we're actually going to look for the common denominator between 9 and 6, right? Which ends up being 18. Now, when I change 2/9 to a fraction with the denominator of 18, multiply by 2, multiply by 2, this would give me 2 and 4/18. Then when I take 1/6 and I write it as a fraction with the denominator of 18, multiply by 3, multiply by 3, you get 3 over 18. Now that my denominators are the same, I add the whole numbers. 2 plus 4 is 6. And now I can add the numerators. 4 plus 3 is 7. And I bring over the denominator. So number one here would be 6 and 7/18. All right. Now, when you look at number two, okay, when we look at number two, you have 10 and 5/6 plus 5 and 3/4. Common denominator here, I'm going to rewrite, is 12. Between 6 and 4 is 12. So right away, what do I have to multiply 6 by? 2. So that's going to give me 10/12 plus multiply 4 by 3 and 3 by 3, and that gives me 9/12. Now when I add these together, I get 10 plus 5 is 15. But then when I add the numerators together, I get 19 over 12. But because this numerator is greater than the denominator, I have to use the box. So 19 goes in the box, 12 on the outside. 12 goes into 19 one time. 19 minus 12 is 7. So this becomes 15 plus 1 and 7/12. But I can combine these whole numbers to get 16 and 7/12. And that would be the answer here. Okay. Now, from here, let's go ahead and look at number 3. Okay. Oh, almost done here. All right. So for number 3, we have 11 and 7/8, but now we're subtracting 9 and 5/6. Well, I'm going to change this to a mixed number that has a fraction with a common denominator between 8 and 6. What would that be? 24? So now multiply by 3, multiply by 3, that gives me 21. Then 5 over 6, multiply by 4, multiply by 4, that would give me 20. So now 11 minus 9 is 2. Then 21/24 minus 20 over 24 gives me 1 over 24. And I am done. So this would be 2 and 1/24. Okay, so this is a review of section 6.6. Now, section 6.7 in your packet. This is when the subtraction got a little different. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1 here. Okay, we're going to do 5 and 1/3 minus 3 and 5/6. Now, when we do this and we find that common denominator, right, the common denominator between 3 and 6 is going to be 6, right? So multiply by 2, multiply by 2, I get 5 and 2/6 minus 3 and 5/6. But if you look here, this numerator, right? This numerator, the first one, is smaller than this one. So this is where we took it and we rewrote this, right, as an improper fraction. So we said 6 times 5 is 30. 30 plus 2 gives me 32 over 6 minus 6 times 3 is 18 plus 5 gives you 23 over 6. Now, 32 minus 23 is 9 over 6. But is this how I keep it? No. So now I can put 9 in the box, 6 on the outside, goes in one time. I get 3, so it becomes 1 and 3, 6. But you should notice 3 over 6 can be reduced. So that becomes 1. And when I divide both of these by 3, I get 1 and 1/2. Okay? So remember, anytime your numerator of your first fraction is smaller than the numerator of your second fraction, you have to go through this process. Okay? Take a minute, pause the video to write that down. And we're going to go ahead and try number 2. Okay? So number 2, we have 7 and 1/4 minus 2 and 5/12. So if we find the common denominator between 4 and 12, it's going to be 12. So I have to multiply by 3, multiply by 3, multiply by 1, multiply by 1, that's 5. If I look, this numerator is smaller than this numerator. So easiest way we determine to do this is to go ahead and change to an improper fraction. 12 times 7 is 84 plus 3 would give me 87 over 12 minus 12 times 2 is 24. 24 plus 5 is 27 over 12. Now, right away, 87 minus 27 is going to give me 60 over 12. And right away, think about it. What is 60 divided by 12 going to give me? If I put 60 in the box, 12 on the outside, 12 goes into 60 5 times. That gives me 60. I have a remainder of 0, so it's just going to be 5. Okay? So take the time, write that down, and I'm going to erase this. All right, last one we're going to do is number 4. So we have 9 and 2/5 minus 3 and 3/4. I look at this, and I look at this. What's the common denominator between 5 and 4? That would be 20. Okay? Now, with this, I have to multiply 5 by 4, 2 by 4. That'll give me 8. I have to multiply 4 by 5 and 3 by 5. That gives me 15. Now, I notice this numerator is smaller than this numerator, so I have to convert to that improper fraction. 20 times 9 is 180, plus 8 is 188 over 20, minus 20 times 3 is 60, plus 15 will give me 75 over 20. When I subtract that, okay, when I go ahead and I subtract that, 188 minus 75 gives you 113 over 20. Okay, so now 113, 20. 20 goes into 113 5 times. 5 times 20 is 100. 113 minus 100 is 13. So this becomes 5 and 13 over 20. Oh. So right now, you're going to go to if you go to Google Classroom, the pages in the assignment is on Google Classroom. So there's 2 pages of homework. The first one's 1 through 10, and the second page is 1 through 8.